I haven't sat down to film a video in this corner in so long. I'm nervous. I don't know why. That's kind of weird. I never really get nervous for filming. I don't know what's going on with my lights. They are solid. I don't know why the camera's flickering them, but that's happening. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new, which you most likely are. My name is Emily and I kind of do a lot of things on this channel. I don't really have like a niche. I just kind of do things that make me happy because I don't want to get sucked into the algorithm the same way some YouTubers do. So yeah. Today we're going to be talking about art school and art programs and kind of what my issues with it are. I'm in an art program. I take media production in Toronto, so I do know a little bit about it. It's also the time when people are choosing their majors, choosing where they want to go. And so I hope that this video can help out a few of you guys who are struggling to figure out what you want to do and whether or not university is the right route for you. I just want to forward this saying that like I really like my program for the most part, and I'll get into the reasons. Like, this is a pros and cons video. I don't want people to think that like I'm super negative about it, because I try to make the most of what I'm doing and what I'm studying. Obviously everything on this planet has its benefits and its downside, so just keep that in mind. I'm trying to go at this like as realistically as I can. So I have my notes on my phone, so if I'm looking down at my phone, that is why. So let's call it the truth about art school. So if you're anything like me, you probably grew up with like different sets of talents than most people. For me personally, I was never good at math or science, but I was always really good at languages, especially English. I also studied like fully in French, so if that gives any more context to like my personal situation, I grew up in I went to French school. My first language is French. I grew up speaking French, and university is the first time that I've actually done any subject other than English class in English. So that's actually kind of something that I could talk about in another video. But for those of you who are in French school or are learning in a different language like than you're gonna study in the future, it comes a little bit as a shock at first. It's a little bit different, but I'll get into that later on in the video. So I always knew that I wanted to go into something creative. Growing up, there was a little bit of influence from my family to try to get into like law school or med school. But this was more when I was like really young, like, which is basically like, I feel like what a lot of parents do. Like when you're younger, you get your first doctor's set, you get your little kitchenette thing, and you get all these little gadgets and things that are really fun, and I don't have any problem with them, and I had a great childhood, so I'm not complaining about any of that. But I always felt like there was only certain careers available. I didn't really understand that there was more to life, there was more to the job market than just math and science. And growing up, I always had troubles with math and sciences. But it wasn't until I was probably like 13-ish that I figured out that like there was more than just like regular jobs. You know, I didn't know about freelancing until I was like 17, but I did theater camps a lot growing up, and it wasn't until I was about 13 that I realized that you could get a career doing like making movies essentially. I didn't realize that, and I was so involved in creating rather than understanding theory, if that makes sense. And then going into high school, I went to a high school that was very focused in math and sciences. So it was really hard for me to like try to explore the different aspects of digital media, creative media, all of that, storytelling. I did research, and I think it was in I kind of knew that I wanted to go to the school that I'm at now from an early age. They have a really good film program, and that's what I was kind of aiming for through high school. I didn't actually get into that program, which I thought was like the end of the world at first. Like if I didn't get in, I would be heartbroken. But then I found the program that I'm in now. So I'm in media production, not film studies. So I'm in media production, and what that entails is just like you can do digital media, you can do video media, you can do sound media, and you can kind of explore the different like worlds of media, the different ways that media can be used. And for a really long time I was like, well, if I want to do film, I need to go to a program that has the word film in it. And then I actually got into my program now on first round admissions, which was insane because I didn't even think I'd get in. But I got in on first rounds, and that's when I like actually started properly looking into the program and understanding what it was about. After doing like intensive-ish research, I found that my program is a better film program than the actual film program that's offered at my school. This program is great, and I will get into the things that I dislike about it, but the things that I like about it is the flexibility of the program, the way that my program listens to what we want and tries to work with what we want to make the program even better. It's overall a pretty diverse group of people, so you get to learn a lot like through your peers, which is awesome, and it's really, really hands-on. It's kind of the perfect balance between theory and practical, where you have to take theory classes and they suck for the most part, but you still have the benefit that like you're gonna go in a couple of days and play with what they're talking about, and you get to do so much, and like you get to explore so much, and that's amazing. Overall, I do really recommend the program. If you're not sure what you want to do, but you know you kind of want to be in the media industry, whether you want to do marketing, social marketing, film production, TV production, like live event production, sound production, like whatever you want to do, you're gonna find it in this program, which is amazing. Anyways, let's get into my notes. A couple disclaimers and a couple of things that do bother me about film school, art school, I think just art programs in general. It's very subjective the way that you're being graded, because professors will have opinions about your work in terms of the big picture. And so like you might meet all the criteria, and I've had a few issues with this before where like I met all the criteria, but because like my script wasn't good enough, even though the script wasn't being graded, I lost marks. So it's a very subjective thing. So like if you're making a short film, if the professor doesn't like the story, which for the assignment that I am taking example from, the story didn't actually matter for the final. Like he said that he wasn't gonna mark on story, and you're basically supposed to grade on visuals and like overall like sound quality, video quality, editing, whatever, like that kind of stuff. Part of it, like a lot of it does get graded based on the more creative side of it rather than just like the technical side. So it's very subjective how you get graded, and like we've had issues before, like not me personally, but I know of people who have like made something, got a bad grade, and then took it to another professor to have it remarked, and that other professor gave them like 100% on it. So like it's really subjective, and that might work out in your favor, but it could also like not be so great for your GPA. So that's definitely something to make note of. It's not always fair. Life isn't fair, I guess. It's a good way to learn that. I don't appreciate that it's very much imposed that we need to get a degree to do what we want to do. I think overall, just as a society, we put too much importance on diplomas and graduating university, graduating college. I think we put too much importance on that. I think that it's kind of like disappointing that at this point in time, I couldn't just go out and do editing or video production full-time, even though I have the experience to do it. I think like this is found in a lot of different programs too. I'm not saying that this is like unique to like film and media. I'm talking about like art in general and society in general. Like we put such an importance on a diploma when we really don't have to. People are able to show that they can do what they want to do without having a diploma, and like you can learn a lot of things just on your own and be just as good as anybody else. So, or even better than other people. Like that's constantly kind of thrown, like you need to be here so that you can do this, when like in theory, if people gave young creatives or just people in general the chance to show off their skill rather than looking at their education history, they may find that people can actually do something without having to pay countless amounts of money to get a paper that says that they can do it, if that makes sense. There's a toxic, I feel like in a lot of programs, I've heard this from a lot of people, in a lot of programs, especially art programs, especially smaller programs, that there's a really toxic competitive energy, and I 100% agree with this. It feels like you're always trying to like one up somebody, or somebody's trying to one up you, and like we can't just have an energy that's like uplifting and cooperative. Like this could actually be pretty singled out to my program, but there is this like high school type vibe where people aren't quite independent enough to take responsibility for their actions and take accountability of their actions, which really sucks because there's a lot of times when like shit sucks. And like for me personally, I've had a really hard time in the past year because of just overall like drama in friend groups, and some of it is self-inflicted. I am a very compassionate person. I care a lot about a lot of things and a lot of people, and I take a lot of things to heart. So part of it is just me being that kind of person that like I just hold on to everything, and I watch where I just like take everything. I just watch everything happen, and like if I feel left out of something, like it just hits me hard. I know this happens to a lot of people, and I get very anxious about just how I present myself and like where I'm at, and like, you know, I get self-conscious about things. Like I feel like that's kind of normal. But like overall, like there's a lot of exclusion, and there's a lot of like just overall like just petty competitiveness that I wish wasn't around. And like I'm not saying that I'm completely innocent in this. I'm trying to better myself for sure. I feel like there's a lack of just like, I don't know, just some people are really childish, and some people are really hard to crack when it comes to that. Like it's just not everything is a competition. My point is that like there is like a certain toxic competitive spirit, and like in some cases that can be like really motivating for some people, but in other cases it's just like exhausting. Like I wish that there was more collaboration and support and, you know, community amongst my peers. And like some people are gonna watch this and be like, oh, you're wrong, but I feel like everybody is so segregated into their own like groups of people that like once you have this clique formed, it's so hard to break those cliques and like intertwine those cliques and have a good time. That's just my personal opinion on that matter. But yeah, I don't know. So this has been my rant about art school. I do want to make it so clear that like there are so many benefits to it. I just wanted to shed some light on the like not so positive sides, because it is a hard decision to make, to decide where you want to go, and I don't want there to be any sort of misconception that like university in general is all rainbows and butterflies. It's hard work, and there are going to be some really eye-opening things that happen for sure, and your world might turn upside down for a minute, and it's all about how you deal with it. Art school is so worth it because it toughens your skin. Like it builds up your immunity to people's bullshit. It just builds you a tougher shell, and kind of makes you realize that like some people aren't always what they seem, and it's about how you deal with those people and how you deal with those situations. And I honestly see it all as a benefit. I see everything that I've been through academically as a benefit to what is going to come of me in the future. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't like super uplifting, super positive, but I did want to make this video, and I did want to bring a point to what I was feeling and what I had experienced. So if you did enjoy this video, please leave it a thumbs up. Let me know down below your troubles, your opinions, your concerns below. I respond to my comments, so yeah. My social medias are below, so follow them, and please subscribe to the channel. I want to hit 200 before my 20th birthday, and we are so close. So thank you so much guys for the support, and I will see you guys next week.